Imagine this. You're suddenly floating above your own body. The chaos below, doctors, family crying, machines flatlining, but you feel nothing. No pain. Just weightless clarity. You then realize a stark reality. You're dead. Because how else do you explain hovering like Casper the Friendly Ghost? No one sees you. No one hears you. You're just in a whole new state of being. This spectral state feels eerily familiar. If you've ever played Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Most noted in the game was the twisted, decayed mirror of the living world where Raziel is resurrected as a soul-devouring wraith entity courtesy of a mysterious elder god. He's the one who lays down the rules of this ghostly existence. For Raziel, it's a realm he can shift from into the material world. For us, it's different. Because once we leave our physical bodies for good, we're pretty much stuck in spirit mode indefinitely. And the fun doesn't stop there. First come the visions. Flashes of your entire life showing you the high points, that joy, the lowest points that lead to regret. The acts of kindness and cruelty, which plays on like a hyper-realistic highlight reel. This is the classic life review reported in countless near-death experiences. Then comes the series of voices. They feel warm, loving, and strikingly familiar. Your deceased mum is calling for you. Old friends. Maybe an old pet like a cat or dog yearns for your attention. They sound so inviting. And straight ahead is that bright irresistible light at the end of a tunnel. All of it just screams peace, love, and it feels as if you're retiring home in a heavenly existence from that point here on out. Basically, it's everything many have been taught to run toward, which is a safe, recognizable environment. And you can bet your bottom dollar 90% spirits will sync with that blissful feeling. So they'll move toward it, believing all of what they're seeing is pure heaven bound. To them it's total salvation laid out for them, and the reunion of people in their lives is an added plus. But what if it's not? And it's here for the very few, who will stop dead in their tracks and now they're lost in deep thought. It may seem as if they are in a trance-like state from reading the most mind-blogging bestseller thriller suspense ebook ever. Okay, let's switch this spiritual perspective to you, and with the initial pause, you continue to hesitate. Then comes the impulse to step backwards from the magnificent illuminated pathway. You continue drifting back toward the shadows. And that's when everything changes. You've just refused the most seductive trap in existence. No, you're locked into a series of trials that will determine whether you're able to achieve true spiritual freedom. Or will it be you, returning for another 60 to 80 years of long hard service you surely don't want to carry out all over again. Okay, pause the video for a second. Alright, let me say this again. If you're deeply attached to traditional religious comfort or you're not ready for ideas that challenge everything you were taught as a kid, this might not be the video for you. What I'm about to share can unsettle you, because it directly confronts mainstream beliefs about death, salvation, and the afterlife. But if you're someone who values true understanding over comforting stories, and you're willing to do the deep research most people, 99.9%, never will, then stick with me until the very end. The idea isn't new, but the internet has amplified it. What if the famous tunnel of light reported in near-death experiences, NDEs, is just a clever reincarnation trap, a cosmic recycling system designed to wipe your memory and send you back into another life on Earth, or another layer of this realm, without your full consent or awareness? Voices of loved ones, glowing beings, overwhelming love and peace. They're pulling you back into the wheel of birth, death, and forgetting. This is why you ask, I think I've been here before. This echoes ancient warnings, especially in Gnostic traditions. The material world, and its afterlife loops, as a prison crafted not by the ultimate divine source, but by a lesser, flawed architect. The demiurge and its archons, sinister rulers or cosmic administrators. In this view, The bright light isn't necessarily malicious in a cartoon villain way, but it's part of a system that keeps souls cycling through experiences that prevent full awakening. The elder god in soul Reaver feeds on souls in its wheel of fate. Some see modern parallels in how energy and consciousness might be harvested or redirected, this considered Saturnian, which falls under the principles of Saturn. Traditional religions often teach simple beliefs, or rituals guarantee heaven. But what if it's not that simple? What if believing you're saved is exactly how the trap works? Complacency instead of gnosis. This is all about deep knowing. This is where the real prize of your research comes in when researching the monad. In Gnostic and related philosophical traditions, the monad is the ultimate, ineffable source. The one. Pure consciousness, the invisible father of everything. Beyond duality, beyond the flawed material creation. Not the creator god of this world, but the origin of all true divine sparks within us. The monad doesn't demand worship through fear or blind faith. It's the light of awareness itself, but not the seductive tunnel light. It's the recognition of your own divine nature, the spark that was never truly trapped. Reaching toward the true monad means transcending the cycles. It means remembering who you really are, not a helpless soul to be recycled. You're a fragment of the infinite. This isn't about fear-mongering, this is all about preparation for the inevitable we all must face at the end of our lives. The thing to keep in mind is not going toward that light for any reason whatsoever, no matter who is calling you. Ignore them at all costs because it's not really them. Understand that this takes mental preparation, and you have to know that you're a sovereign spirit, so it should be you calling the shots, not them. That's why it's important to start cultivating higher levels of awareness now through meditation, to establish self-inquiry, ethical living, while seeking gnosis. So when the moment comes, you'll recognize the illusions and choose alignment with the highest reality to steer you away from this continuous vicious cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. No, a lot of what has been shared has been told to us time and time again, yet we don't have absolute proof about reincarnation nor obtaining supreme consciousness after we pass on. When it comes to NDE's near-death experiences, they come off profoundly real to individuals who experience them. The soul trap idea is a compelling hypothesis, a modern remix of ancient Gnostic wisdom mixed with simulation theory and prison planet Saturn concepts. Saturn always stood as the representer of not only time, but also authority, abundance, greed, self-centeredness. But the biggest title attached to him is inhibitor, which Saturn is best known for denying you rites of passage. When digging a bit deeper, the breakdown behind the Saturn concepts are quite telling. Number 1. The sieve of time. Saturn represents the physical ring boundary that says, you shall not pass until you are heavy enough to handle what's on the other side. This points back to the restricting force of Saturn's rings. Nothing is capable of passing through the ring barrier. This is similar to facing the Archons mentioned earlier, who are the inhibitors that will try to direct you to follow the path of the tunnel light trap. Number 2. The cosmic auditor. Saturn is cold, and will tell it to you straight how things are going to be. Society operates off these Saturnian forces, especially individuals aligned with the long arm of the law. Saturn's reach extends over into the legal system within a court of law, or what is deemed the phrase called maritime admiralty law. Most people get it twisted when maritime law comes into play in realtor to admiralty court, because they immediately associate it with sovereign citizenship. Well, that's not the case, and the reason why is due to what took place in the 1870s. In 1871, Congress passed the Act of 1871, leading to the corporatization of the United States. Yes, the United States is really run like a company, no different than any other. Further steps were taken to rebrand the original Constitution, changing it from the founders' the Constitution for the United States to the Constitution of the United States. Therefore, the spirit of America was defiled. Even the spirit of 76 is deemed nothing but a joke. In retrospect, sovereignty rights, or what little Americans had, were completely stripped away. So when you hear in those cops shows, I'm a sovereign citizen, and your rules don't apply to me. Yeah. Well, not anymore, because today it applies to all financial slaves who identify as US citizens. And the end result points right back to Saturn's authority. Remember, the dark-colored uniforms officers wear as stark representations of Saturn the inhibitor. He'll hold you back and teach you a lesson. This applies the same to the final Archon Saturn who awaits you when attempting to gain passage within the monad. It's comparative to how Archons within the spirit realm work to break the ambitions of the spirit, making sure it remains compliant and gladly accepts reincarnation as a base option, rather than pursuing the chance to expand their consciousness for all of eternity to come. Number 3. The price of admission. The true rite of passage requires sacrifice, endurance, and the shedding of one's ego. Because Saturn represents the ego's need for greed and self-centeredness, he will actively block a person from leveling up until they learn that true authority isn't about controlling others, it's about mastering oneself. This was also suggested to Raziel at one point within Soul Reaver 1, where Raziel seeks his abandoned tomb to discover the deeper, darker truths surrounding his past when he was human. The Elder God says to him, "Know thyself, for it ought to destroy you." Time is generous in Raziel's case. He's a different type of being who lived well past a millennium, and yet the discoveries of his past shocks him to his very core. But, given his faults, he uses the extended time to improve himself. And he works tirelessly to right the wrongs he committed against human beings when he was a vampire. Well, no, some that applies to us when we practice to improve ourselves to achieve a higher sense of conscious awareness. So the sacrifice there points back to time, which especially applies to those who are into improving themselves, which takes years of practice and dedication. This also applies to those who are determined to enter the monad, and the means of practice is meditation, the very same practice we're told is forbidden to conduct. In retrospect, fear-mongering words used by deacons, preachers, cardinals, popes etc. are all bound to a grander scheme. The majority of them won't admit it. This isn't counting the ones who don't know about what has been said here in this session. But there are ministers who do understand how the matrix energy sucking of everyday individuals is fed upon by unseen malevolent forces. This is why many practitioners of ministry have been linked to Freemasonry. And claims of hidden agendas are rumored, yet attendants of their congregations are only permitted to mundane knowledge. Okay, so that basically means you're told only what you should know. And if that's the case, does this really benefit you and your most sacred beliefs while you're within a house of worship? Or are you being used like a battery to be drained of its resources and discarded on a whim? This limits the knowledge believers of whatever faith should have access to. Having limited clarity will follow you once you enter into the spirit realm, and this is where the Archons will feed upon the fear and doubt you generate due to a lack of understanding. The end result marks you as a candidate for reincarnation without a shadow of a doubt, so access to the monad is automatically cut off, which means you're forced to live through another human experience. This mirrors the words of the Elder God, when he tells Raziel in Soul Reaver that he is a wraith spirit who gathers souls for him to devour to feed his infamous wheel of fate. Raziel, however, understands the scheme the Elder God is playing. As he tries to deny Raziel the option to leave the spectral realm, that's until he does re-enter the material plane. That right there is a direct reference to reincarnation, which is nothing more than a never-ending hellish nightmare. No, there's more that will be shared about this topic matter. And in the second part you'll learn about the lesser-known Archons who try to mislead and direct wandering souls toward the light tunnel of deception. So be on the lookout for session 39, and make sure to voice your thoughts about today's session, hacking your consciousness to align with the monad. Alright, I'll see you in the next session. So if you liked what you saw and heard today about this informative topic matter, then smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe to Mind Blast Mechanics, where we dive deep into the observations that matter. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you have a question to be answered, don't miss our next video, so make sure to tap that bell. Thanks for watching.